Oh my gosh, is that Cletus? He's the best. I can't believe he's really here. Well, thanks, guys. It's good to see you too. Welcome, hackers. Today we're going to be talking about how to reward your players. Sometimes magic and gold are not the best rewards for the players. The rewards that they may need could be fame and prestige. These are tools that the players can use throughout the campaign to their benefit. And when doling out these kinds of rewards, make sure that it is tied into the adventure. For example, after clearing out a tower of zombies for the local lordling, perhaps he will reward the players with ownership of said tower. The first reward we're going to talk about are fortifications. Fortifications are something given to players by powerful rulers and lords of the land. They're given to the players because of the players' loyalty to that lord. Keep in mind that the players don't actually own the land around it, only the fortification upon it. This is different than bastions, which we made a video about previously, and you can see the link above me to that, in that they can be taken away, whereas a bastion is the players for good. Another reward that can be given to the players is a letter of recommendation. Letters of recommendation are letters from powerful NPCs. This can give the players access to other NPCs they may not normally be able to gain access to. Perhaps the Duke of the land refuses to see the mere peasants that wander into his castle every day. However, with a letter of recommendation from the king, perhaps the Duke will see the party. But remember that this letter of recommendation is only as good as the reputation of the person that sent it. The Duke in the previous example may not want to see the adventuring party if the letter of recommendation is from a rival that he hates and doesn't respect. The parties could receive medals of honor. These are usually given to players after performing heroic deeds. Medals could come with many benefits, getting help from NPCs around the area. But remember that these benefits are only going to come to the party while they're within the territory that recognizes that medal. They could receive parcels of land. Much like fortifications, these are given by rulers. However, it's just land in the area. Remember that these parcels of land still belong to the ruler. It's only being maintained and protected by the party members. These lands can be bequeathed to their successors and children, but can never be sold. On or near these lands that the party is supposed to protect is an excellent location to build a player's bastion. Players can be given a special favor, a kind of an IOU that can be called in by the players at a later date. This is an excellent way for the dungeon master to allow the party members to have a little bit of say in exactly how the reward is used. They can use this special favor from an NPC anytime that they need something and can't get it on their own. Characters could be given special rights. These are rights and privileges that others don't receive. These could be things like the party is allowed to fight pirates or perhaps negotiate on behalf of the crown, maybe even lead ceremonies or dictate trade. These special rights usually have an expiration date and only last as long as the decree from the ruler. You don't get to negotiate for the king forever, just until this one negotiation is finished. The party members could receive titles. These often come with a parcel of land. The Fae love giving out whimsical titles, for example, the Duke of Donuts or perhaps the Chancellor of Chuckles. Especially when coming from the Fae, these can come with special supernatural gifts, and we'll cover supernatural gifts a little bit later in the video. A player can have more than one title, and it can be passed down to their children. However, titles can be taken away if the player is no longer loyal to the king that gave it. The players may be given special training. Special training could train a party member in a special skill or give them proficiency in tools and may even teach them a new language. Several of these prestige rewards might be comboed together. For example, a party member may be given a parcel of land with a fortification on it, or perhaps special training in a language as well as a special right to negotiate for the king. You may need to speak Goblin in order to parley with the goblins. In a similar vein to prestige, we have renown. Renown differs a little bit in that prestige is the award that you get, whereas renown is more the system that you use to gain it. A player would have multiple renown scores with organizations, factions, even different communities and individuals. Renown starts at 0 with each of these different entities. and goes up as you complete missions and do things that benefit that organization, faction, community, or individual. Some of these organizations and factions may require you to have a certain amount of renown within the system in order to even give you any aid at all. You gain renown by completing missions for the organization. Simple missions would gain you +1 renown, more complicated ones +2, and maybe even +3 for major quests that you do on their behalf. During your downtime, you can do small tasks for the organization and raise your renown at a cost of 10 times your current renown score in days. So if your current score of renown is 3, it would take 30 days to raise it to a 4 with downtime tasks and activities. And what do you get for all this renown? Well, you can get some of the prestige options that we discussed earlier. With a high enough renown, different members of the organization would be willing to help you out, giving you food and lodging. You could even gain ranks within the organization. Some organizations have a very strict rank structure, and you require a certain amount of renown to be raised to the next level. Some of them, you may even need a specific renown score to even apply to be raised up to the next rank. Some perks might include access to a safe house and contacts, or maybe even coupons for discounts in different stores. At higher rank, you might have access to scrolls and potions, and at the highest levels within the organization, you may be able to purchase magic items of a more powerful nature. You may gain access to army and other military officers, and maybe even be able to send lower ranked members of the organization out on missions on your behalf. You can lose renown within an organization when you do things that are counter to its goals, but it can never drop below 0. And simple disagreements with people within the organization are never enough to lower your renown. Earlier, we mentioned supernatural gifts. A supernatural gift is a special reward granted by a being or force of great magical power. Supernatural gifts come in 2 forms. A blessing is usually bestowed by a god or a godlike being, whereas a charm is usually the work of a powerful spirit, a magical location, or a mythic creature. You would receive blessings from a high power by doing momentous deeds in their service, maybe restoring their most sacred shrine, or perhaps foiling the apocalyptic designs of their arch enemy. You may even receive that blessing in advance in order to help you in foiling that evil plot. There's no limit on the number of blessings you can have, and they last forever or until they are revoked by the being that granted them to you. You can create your own by using abilities similar to what you would see in wondrous items. A couple examples are: the Blessing of Health raises your Constitution score by 2, up to a maximum of 22. A Blessing of Magic Resistance gives you advantage on saving throws against spells and other magical effects. Mythic allies might grant you charms. Some charms can be used only once. Others can be used a specific number of times before vanishing. If a charm lets a character cast a spell, the character can do so without expending any spell slot or providing any spell components. Unless otherwise stated, the spell uses its normal casting time, range, and duration. If the spell requires concentration, the character must concentrate on it. The charm can't be removed by anything short of divine intervention or a wish. Charms are easy to recreate on your own. To come up with an idea, simply pick a spell or a potion and apply that effect as a charm. Once given to the player, they can use that instead of casting it themselves. A couple of examples are things like a charm of feather falling. The charm grants you the benefit of a ring of feather falling. These benefits last for 10 days, after which the charm vanishes from you. Charm of the Slayer allows you to make one weapon in your possession become a dragon slayer or a giant slayer for the next 9 days, after which the charm vanishes from you and the weapon returns to normal. So let me know in the comments if you use prestige, renown, and charms in your games, or if you think that this is something you might want to add to your games. I think it's a great way to reward players and pull them further into the story other than just crawling through a dungeon and hacking and slashing. I appreciate your patronage of my channel. I'd love a thumbs up and a subscription in order to keep seeing more videos and help my channel grow. And until the next video, keep on hacking the dungeon.